Hey, what is going on, guys? It's DK. Back at you with another video here to predict the 5-game NBA main slate on Thursday. Before I get into the video, if you guys are new to the channel, my name's DK. I make daily videos breaking out NBA, NFL, PGA, and esports daily fantasy sports slates. Real quick before I get into analysis, I do want to say thank you guys for all support. It's kind of crazy. We're now at 3.91 thousand subscribers, so looking like I'm going to hit 4K subs by the weekend. Seriously, guys, I really, really do appreciate all the support in the YouTube comment section, on Twitter, in the live streams. Right now, it's all free content, so the easiest way to support me is, spread the word. If you have other friends that like DFS, spread the word, or leave a like button on the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell. So, with that out of the way, let's jump into the video. Before we get into players and the prices for this 5-game slate, what we can do is we can look back at my lineup here from Wednesday. So, I'll keep the tilt level, I guess, to about a minute here. It's just been, if you guys have been watching my videos, it's been really tough luck for me. Try not to complain too much on here, but I've dealt with foul trouble literally every single slate. Multiple players, too, in every single slate. Sometimes guards, not big men, right? So that's been really tough. And then I get a low-owned Ben Simmons, and he gets injured midway through the third. So, and he's out for the game. Just, really, really tough pill to swallow, to be honest, with, again, all the foul trouble I've been dealing with. I get a low-owned Mike Conley going for 42. Another low-owned play, Ben Simmons, was decent. Wasn't shooting the ball the best, but injuries are just shake my head, man. It's the way my luck. Now I've still been cashing too a lot of the times, but don't think I'm gonna be able to cash here with 24 spot from Ben Simmons at 8.7K. So really, really disappointing. That is the way DFS goes. It is injuries, foul trouble, but it just seems like I just can't catch a break. It seems like, but that's the tilt out of the way. I don't think I'm gonna be able to cash. Again, Clark was really chalky. Wasn't the best. I mentioned that his usage would go down. JV playing alongside JV and John Morant more. And I talked about really liking my Conley under a bench spot. I went to SGA with no Schroeder, and then McGee. Once Dwight Howard got ruled out, really liked him. And then again, I want exposure to that late game. I was pretty high in the late game, so I went with Brown, Tatum, Allen. Again, I don't think I'm going to cash here with Ben Simmons, but that's it. That's my tilt. Trying to stay positive, but really, really tough when you're playing a couple $100 a night and you just have to deal with BS constantly. But that's DFS. So let's take a look at some of the odds for these games. Unfortunately, they don't have the Pelicans-Kings game. That was a game I would want a lot of exposure to. That's not on the main slate. It's only going to be a showdown slate. We do have 2 of the 5 out right now. Again, I'm making this video pretty early at 6 o'clock Eastern. Pacers, Suns at 228.5 over under. Pacers are 3-point favorites. Clippers and Mavs are 231.5 over under. The Clippers are 4-point favorites. Let's go over some of the news so far. Again, Ben Simmons won't return. Whatever. So there are some news we already got out for Thursday. Couple big pieces here. Pat Beverly, not huge, but he's out. I think that's a slight boost to Reggie Jackson. Slight boost to Lou Williams. LeBron, AD are playing today. We'll see about the status tomorrow. I assume they're going to play tomorrow since it is the Rockets, but you never know. Now, we did get already Jimmy Butler news ruled out. That's pretty big because him being out is a huge boost to guys like Dragic, Hero, Nunn even, but his Mets have been way down lately. We also have Goran Dragic, who rolled his ankle that last game, questionable as well. So if Dragic is out too, I think Nunn has to get good run. He's really cheap. I think Tyler Hero has to get good run. So those two become a lot more viable. I think Kelly Olynyk would still probably start and get good run. We do have Russell Westbrook questionable as well. Obviously, that's slate changing. If he's out, like Harden becomes one of the top plays of the slate. Malcolm Brogdon is questionable. Also pretty big news in a good matchup against the Suns. If he's out, I like Oladipo quite a bit. I think Aaron Holiday gets a pretty big boost. Obviously, T.J. Warren, who is, I guess, the MVP now, even gets a bigger boost too. Kyle Kelly Oubre doubtful. Did not expect him to play anyway. Seth Curry doubtful. Be warned, I'm not touching the Mavs value. I've already warned you guys multiple times. It's just you cannot trust Rick Carlisle ever. But that's it for the some of the injuries. So let's start with center today. And Anthony Davis at the top at 10-3. I love him if he's not going to be limited. I think there's a slight chance maybe they rest either AD or LeBron or both here. Since it is a back-to-back, Lakers kind of already have a 1 seed locked up. But if he's going to play and he's going to play normal minutes, I absolutely love AD at 10-3. Houston, we've seen plays no defense. You just saw what Nurkic did on these. Had a field day against Houston. Houston runs small ball, right? So AD's going to have PJ Tucker, Robert Covington, Jeff Green on him. He's going to have his weight there. My only concern with AD, again, is maybe he's going to be limited, or there's always like a 5% chance he gets injured too. He's made of glass. So that's the only concerns I have with AD. Other than that, I think he's an amazing play. Jokic at 9-5. I think, he's going to play big minutes. If Jamal Murray's out again, which I assume he will since he was out today, Jokic, Monty Morrison, Michael Porter Jr. all get a boost. Jokic, I've mentioned him. I always mention with him, he's a very frustrating player to roster for DFS. At times, he can take over games, and at times, he can just completely defer offensively. Even with all these guys out, like Jokic will still have games where he just won't do anything for some reason. But then he'll have those games where he'll completely take over. Like that last game against OKC went for almost 70 fancy points. So, I have interest in Jokic. Obviously, if he's playing more aggressive, then he can have a huge upside game. Nurkic is a guy that I've really liked the last 3 slates. The price continues to come up, 8.9K now. I still have interest in Nurkic. I do. Just because he is a do-it-all guy. Scores, rebounds, assists, blocks, steals. He fills it up in every single category. What I'm worried about here, which I should have said I got Jokic too, is foul trouble concerns. Nurkic going up against Jokic, former teammates there. So a little bit of revenge, I guess. I am a little bit concerned about foul trouble since, Portland loves feeding Nurkic. Obviously, Denver, Jokic will have the ball in his hands a lot. So that does worry me with both of those guys. Porzingis is at 8-5, another guy that seems to always be in foul trouble, at least the last couple games. Fouled out last game against the Kings, had a bad shooting day. The price did come down a bit. The Clippers matchup not necessarily the best, but again, he'll be matched up a lot with a guy like Zubak, a guy like JaMychal Green. So that's not like a bad individual matchup for Porzingis, and I think he goes super low owned. I think this is kind of like a scenario there against Houston where he's going to be very low owned, but has potential to get you 50 plus fantasy points, definitely. So interest in Porzingis, again, more of a contrarian play for me. We did get news again. Jimmy Butler's out. I think that's a boost to Bam and Adebayo. Not necessarily the best matchup here against the Bucks, but what we know with Milwaukee is they played a super fast pace here. So yeah, Bam's going to have to do a lot more offensively. I have interest in him as well at 7-7. DeAndre Ayton at 7-2, I really do like. Now, that first half, I played DeAndre Ayton the other day. First half, he had like 30 fancy points. I think he had like 2 or 3 fancy points in the second half, just completely disappeared. It was a Devin Booker show. The price continues to come down now, 7-2K. I love him. I'm not scared of Miles Turner defensively. I don't mind going right back to the well here again. I really like his price came down, so I love Ayton here at 7-2. He's one of my favorite plays. I also like Miles Turner quite a bit at 6-2. He's going to play 35 minutes as long as he stays out of foul trouble. Ayton, good offensively, not very good defensively. So maybe this is the game where Miles Turner has the upside game. Where we've seen TJ Warren completely taking over. We've seen good games from Brogdon and Oladipo. Is this the game Miles Turner takes over? I think it could be. Again, we have Brogdon questionable too. That could be more usage for Miles Turner. So I like both those bigs in this game. I think you can play both together. Again, I like that Ayton's power forward eligible, so you can technically play 3 centers if you want to. Then we have Montrezl Harrell still out. Brook Lopez is questionable. He was just not active. I don't know if it was an injury. I think it was just rest, to be honest. I assume he's going to be back in this one. I think he's fine, but I don't know if I'm going to go there. Whiteside, I'll pass. Now, Kelly Olynyk, with Jimmy Butler out, he started and played 32 minutes. I think Kellyo, even at this price point, looks good because he's going to get a lot of the run at the backup 5 too. Myers Leonard is out of the rotation, so it's only Bam and Kellyo that are the bigs. As long as Kellyo starts, he's going to play a lot at the 4, and then when Bam comes out, he's going to play the backup 5. So I like Kelly O. Again, he has that upside to really knock down those threes. He's a good shooter. He's a guy that will do it all, rebounds, assist. Don't know if we're going to get 41 again from him, fancy point-wise, but if he's going to play 30 minutes and play a good amount at backup 5, play a lot at the center, I like Kelly O here. Again, Jimmy Butler out. I think his minutes will be pretty secure. Now, I guess my one concern is with no Jimmy Butler, there is a decent chance this game could blow out. But we just saw the Nets, basically a G League team, beat Milwaukee. Now, Milwaukee did bench Giannis and Middleton in the second half, but Brooklyn was beating Milwaukee when Giannis and Middleton were playing. So, let's move on to Zubak. Zubak, I like a 4-8 too. He played 25 minutes in that game against Phoenix, went for 34 fantasy points. I mentioned him as a nice, kind of buy low candidate there. Price slowly coming up a little bit, but if he's going to play 25 minutes, I think he's viable. Now, I don't think he's my favorite center play, but I think he's in play, more of a contrarian option. Let's see, Maxi Kleber at 4-4. I don't know if I want to do it again. I just don't trust. The only guys of interest in Dallas are Luka and Porzingis. I just don't trust anyone else in that team. Zach Collins is at 4-3. He is always in foul trouble. Looking like he's going to play about 25 to 30 minutes a game. He's not in the closing lineup. They'll bring in Trent Jr. He's been shooting the ball really well. So that does worry me of Zach Collins' minutes, right? He's not going to play huge minutes. I think he's okay, but probably not going to be the way that I go. PJ Tucker and Jeff Green, they're going to have to play big minutes. We saw a huge game from Jeff Green. He was knocking down those threes. That's basically what he has to do if he's not knocking down those corner threes. Doesn't really have a whole lot of upside. Kind of the same thing with Tucker. And both are relatively cheap, though, so I think both are in play. The issue is their center. And center is always a pretty strong position. So what's the opportunity cost of playing one of those guys in the center position, right? So you have to make that decision yourselves. Let's see. Dwight Howard's out for this game today. If he's out again, I assume JaVale McGee is probably going to get 20-plus minutes. If that's the case, I really like JaVale McGee at 3-4. We'll see how many minutes he plays tonight. Again, I'm assuming he gets 20, maybe even 25. You never know, though, but that's what I'm guessing. If Howard's out again here in a match against Houston at 3.4K, if he's going to play decent minutes, I like him. Now, I guess the concern would be Houston really likes running small ball, so do the Lakers match it and just only play McGee 15 minutes? I guess that is a slight concern. Let's see. Other options, Robin Lopez started for Brook Lopez the last game. 20 minutes, 8 fantasy points. Normally he's a slightly better fantasy point producer. If Brook Lopez is out, Robin Lopez starts. I would have some interest there as a punt play. I think that really wraps up, though. So let's move on to power forward. Giannis Antetokounmpo is at 11K. Match against Miami is not really the best, but there's no Jimmy Butler defense, so that is a boost to Giannis. Again, my concern with targeting Milwaukee guys is they don't really have a whole lot to play for either, kind of like the Lakers. So maybe if he plays, maybe the limit again only to the first half, like we saw against Brooklyn. You never really know. So that is in the back of my mind for sure, is Milwaukee's not playing for a whole lot. But if we get 32 to 34 minutes from Giannis, he obviously is a guy that can get you 60, 70 fantasy points any night. And I mentioned really liking AD as long as he's not going to be limited. Nurkic and Jokic, again, I like both those guys. My concern is the foul trouble risk. TJ Warren, what has been going on with him? I really liked him the first 2 games. I was off him against Orlando. It was a tougher spot. He still went for 50 fantasy points. 70, 70, and 50 fantasy points the last 3 games. Now he gets a good match against Phoenix. In a revenge spot, Phoenix traded him away for basically nothing. So, man, 8-4 does feel like a lot to pay for TJ Warren. But if Malcolm Brogdon is out, that's more usage around. I think TJ Warren, it would still be in play. I know it's crazy, but I don't think he's going to continue to shoot this well either. But it's just, he's got the revenge spot. It's a good matchup. He's doing a little bit more. Sure, he only had 2 rebounds, 3 assists that last game. He's a guy that's getting those blocks and steals right now. I don't know if he continues that pace, but yeah, obviously you can tell I'm a little bit undecided right now in TJ Warren. But again, he's been playing amazing. I mentioned really liking DeAndre Ayton there. Covington at 6'5", I'll pass. I'd rather get to those cheapies, guys like maybe Tucker or Green. But again, the opportunity cost because they're only center eligible is a little tricky. Michael Porter Jr. is at 6'4". Right now, he's playing huge minutes. He's on pace to, I think, play 40-plus minutes again here. If Jamal Murray's out again, I think Michael Porter Jr. is a really solid play. Him, Monty Morrison, Jokic, going to have to do a lot offensively. Pretty solid match against Portland, so I do like MPJ. Now, he is a guy that has been some foul trouble, so that is worrisome. And again, I've dealt with foul trouble every single slate, guys. So if I get to Michael Porter Jr., I think it's probably a 99% chance he does get in foul trouble for me. But yeah, if he stays out of foul trouble and if Jamal Murray's out, I think we get 40 minutes again from Michael Porter Jr. He's shooting the ball a ton. I don't think he's going to shoot, 75%, but his usage, again, goes way up. Melo's at 5'6", had a decent game last game. I'm not going to go there. Millsap, I think, would be okay if Jamal Murray's out, but again, I would prefer Jokic. I would prefer Monty Morrison. I'd prefer MPJ on the same team. I'm not getting to Sarge or Cam Johnson there. I'm not paying $5K for Daniel House. Let's see. Other options. Kuzma, 4-5 intrigues me. I think there's a possibility that either AD or LeBron are out, or maybe both get rested. If that's the case, obviously Kuzma would be like the lock of the night, and then some of those other Lakers guards. So we'll see what the Lakers do on the back-to-back here. Let's see. Let's move down. Like airplane mode, we'll get more minutes with no Jimmy Butler, but I don't want to do it. I think the value for me is a guy like Kendrick Nunn, is a guy like Tyler Hero for the Miami side. And that really wraps up for power forward. So let's move on to small forward. Doncic at 11-3. Again, I was really high on him and De'Aaron Fox as GPP plays at last slate. They went off for me. Doncic, 83 fancy points. Now gets a tougher spot against the Clippers, no doubt, right? Quiet, good defensively. Paul George, good defensively. Lakers are a good defensive team. I still think there is merit to look to Luka. I don't think he's a cash play, though, at 11-3. I think that's a little too expensive. I think the matchup plus the price will lower his ownership. Once again, you're probably going to get like a 10% on Luka. I think he's in play for tournaments. Again, the reason why I love playing Luka is look at the stat sheet, right? I mentioned this with a few guys, right? A guy like Luka, a guy like Nurkic, they do it all. Points, rebounds, assists, blocks, steals. And if he's having a good shooting night, he can have an amazing night like we saw that last game where he went for 83 fantasy points. So I don't think he's a cash game play at 11-3. I think he makes for an interesting GPP play because he will be low owned. LeBron at 10-5, I have interest in LeBron. I mean, I like both these Lakers stars as long as they're not going to be limited. Again, it is his second night of a back-to-back. We'll see. Got to keep an eye on this news. If both are not going to be rested, I like both a good amount here. I would prefer AD to LeBron, but I do really like both those guys. Kawhi Leonard's at 8-7. Match against Dallas, I think, looks pretty good. Lou Williams now is back, which is a slight hit to these Clippers guys. We still have Montrez out, but Lou Williams being back, like, he's a guy that will eat up some usage in this offense. So that does worry me a bit with Kawhi and Paul George. Or right now, my kind of take is if you land on either of them, they're fine plays. I don't know if I'm going to go out of my way to play them, if that makes sense, right? So if you land on Kawhi, if you land on Paul George, I think they're both solid. I don't know if they're my favorite plays, though, at their respective prices. Let's see. Other options, Middleton at 7-6. If you want to get different, I guess he's okay, but I'm normally Middleton, Bledsoe are guys I look to if like Giannis is out. When everyone's healthy for Milwaukee, it's kind of tough for me to recommend him at a 7.6K price point. I'm not getting to THJ. Oladipo intrigues me at 5-5, especially if Brogdon is out. He was on a 28 to 32 minutes limit the last game, played 27. So if we get closer to like the 32 minutes from Oladipo, and if Brogdon's out, again, he's going to be more aggressive offensively. He's going to have to do more. I kind of like Oladipo a good amount at 5-5. It's a really good matchup, too. Again, obviously no Sabonis, possibly no Brogdon. This is a spot where I think I might hop onto Victor Oladipo at 5-5. Again, I mean, maybe he's still on a Mets limit, but if we get, again, 32 minutes from Oladipo, I will take that all day at 5.5K against Phoenix. So I do like Oladipo a good amount. Again, kind of dependent on Brogdon news. If Brogdon's out, I would really like Oladipo. Duncan Robinson will have to do a bit more with no Jimmy Butler. My issue with him is he is kind of scoring dependent, right? So he's got to knock down those threes. He is a really good three-point shooter, though. And 5K makes him in play. But again, I think for Miami, it's going to be Kellyo, it's going to be Hero, and a buy low. Kendrick Nunn, who's been playing terrible, just hasn't really been getting the minutes. But I think if Dragic is out, again, we have Jimmy Butler out too. If Dragic is out too, I think Nunn has to play good minutes. Let's see. Other options. Gary Trent Jr. has been shooting lights out. He really has. He played 35 minutes the last game. The minutes are there. I'm actually okay with it. I'm not going to go there personally just because, again, he has to knock down those threes. If he doesn't hit his threes, he has a floor of like 5 fantasy points. So That's a concern. He's really not going to do anything else besides hit those threes, but he's been shooting the ball really, really well. Justin Holiday's at 4-1. He just really has been a low usage guy. I just can't do it. Again, I like a lot of the other guys in the Pacers. Waiters, guys like Waiters, KCP, only would look to them if either LeBron or AD or both are out. Then we can have that discussion. But for right now, I'm going to pass on those guys, even in a good spot. Iguodala is at 3-3. I actually have some interest in Iguodala. He played 31 minutes that last game with no Jimmy Butler. If we get 31 minutes again from Iguodala, I think he's a pretty good play. I really do. Again, him, Nunn, Olynyk, Hero. There is some good value here for Miami. My worry is this game does blow out, but a lot of these guys are cheap and should get good minutes. Again, Jimmy Butler, a really high usage guy out of the offense. Let's see. Other options. I think that really wraps it up. So let's move on to shooting guard. Harden at 10-7, I think, would be the top play of the night if Westbrook's out. I mean, trying to fade James Harden when Russell Westbrook is out, good luck on that. So even in not really the best spot against the Lakers, I would just play him. I don't think, could Harden bust without Westbrook? Probably like a 5% chance, maybe even less than that. I mean, the upside is just enormous on Harden when Westbrook is out. He's just going to shoot the ball every single time up the court. So I guess my concern is a lot of teams recently have been doubling Harden. They just double him every time he gets the ball, right? We saw with Dallas, I think a little bit with Milwaukee, and I didn't really watch the game too much. And then we saw it a lot with Portland too. So that actually does worry me a bit. I think that's really the only concern if Westbrook's out is that they just double him every time. Booker's at 8-3. He had a really good game last game against the Clippers, 37 minutes, 54 fantasy points. I think he is solid once again. Personally, I would rather get to Ayton for about $1,000 less, but I don't mind if you get to Booker. CJ's at 7-9 against Denver. I think it's just okay. The good thing with Portland, though, is these guys are playing huge minutes. Terry Stotts is just going for it all, running a super tight rotation and giving all the starters big run. Like Lillard, CJ playing 40-plus minutes. Nurkic is getting good run. Melo's getting huge runs. So that is the positive, is these guys are going to be playing huge minutes. I just think CJ's okay. Again, not really my favorite play. Let's see. Other options. Lou Williams at 5K was limited that last game, played 21 minutes. I'm interested to see if he's going to be limited again. Again, we do have Pat Beverly out. If Lou Williams is not going to be limited, I think we'd probably get 28 or so minutes, maybe 30. If that's the case, I think he looks like a pretty decent play. So got to keep an eye on the status there if he's going to continue to be on a minutes limit. Aaron Holiday would be a guy I would have some interest in if Malcolm Brogdon's out. If Malcolm Brogdon plays, I probably don't get there, but Holiday's been starting, getting good run. And if Brogdon's out, like Holiday would run the point a bit. So yeah, this is dependent right now on Malcolm Brogdon news. I think that really, Hero. Yeah. Hero at 3-6, I think is one of the best value plays. I think he's a guy that, especially if Dragic is out, will probably get to about 30 minutes. So love Hero here. He's going to have to definitely be a very aggressive offensively. I really, really like him there at 3-6. Again, there's some good value plays here for the Heat. Hero, Iguodala, I think a guy like Kendrick Nunn will talk about. Kelly Olynyk looks good. So there's definitely some value. Again, my concern is there is a chance definitely that game blows out with no Jimmy Butler. But Cam Payne had a good game. I mean, he's in a decent run, but 3-4 is okay. I would just much prefer getting to Tyler Hero. I just feel a lot more confident there. A guy like Caruso, I think I would only consider him if one of AD or LeBron are out. If both are out, then obviously he becomes an amazing play like him, Kuzma, McGee. So again, keep an eye on the Lakers status. I think that really wraps it up for shooting guards. So let's move on to point guard. I already talked about Luka and Harden and LeBron. Lillard's at 9-7. Yeah, against Denver. Again, the good thing with him, with CJ, going to play huge minutes. But I think I prefer other plays at similar prices. So I don't think I'm going to get to Lillard there. Westbrook, and his status up in the air. If he plays at 9K, I think that looks really good. He had a terrible shooting day last game, was terrible at the line too, 5 of 12. I think he bounces back in this one if he does play. If he doesn't play, then again, I think Harden looks really good. If Westbrook's out, then we can consider guys like Austin Rivers becomes more viable. Ben McLemore would probably get a good run too. So let's see. And Jamal Murray, I assume he's going to be out, but we'll see. If he's out, again, I think Monty Morrison, MPJ, Jokic all look really good. Brogdon's status is up in the air. Again, if he's out, it's Aaron Holiday. It's Oladipo, who I think looked really good. I think T.J. Warren's still in play. I think Miles Turner still has an upside game in him. So if Malcolm Brogdon plays at 6'8", I think is fine. But when everyone's healthy, like with Oladipo there, with obviously Turner and Warren there, not like the highest usage guys. So I think he would be a solid play if he plays. Again, if he's out, those other guys I mentioned. Rubio at 6'6". This is an interesting contrarian play. I think that looks like a pretty good price for Ricky Rubio. The issue is that the minutes haven't been huge. Only played 28 that last game. But I think that's kind of due to campaign was shooting the ball really well. I think normally we get about 32 minutes from Rubio. He's a guy that will fill up the stat sheet. I think he goes virtually unowned on the slate. So I have interest there as a contrarian option. Reggie Jackson, with Pat Beverly out, I think looks okay. I think he probably starts at point guard, probably gets 30 minutes. The issue is now Lou Williams is there too. So 5'8", again, it kind of feels like a lot. I don't think I'm going to get to Bledsoe or DiVincenzo. Unless Bledsoe's going to be like not limited, 5'2", then I would consider him. But I assume they're going to, again, ease him back. Monty Morrison 4'7", I think will look one of the better value plays of the day if Jamal Murray's out. He was playing big minutes already, played 39 minutes that last game. So Monty Morrison, again, strictly dependent on Jamal Murray news. Kendrick Nunn, so he's 4'1". The minutes have been way down on him. 22, 16, and 16. He's not been shooting the ball well. But, again, we know Jimmy's out. If Goran Dragic is out, again, I think him, Hero, have to play at least 25 minutes each, probably closer to 30. And we've seen games where Kendrick Nunn does have upside. So I like him as a buy low candidate there. Other options here, I'm not going to get to any of the value Dallas guys for those reasons. Again, just can't trust Rick Carlisle. I think that really wraps it up, guys. So, again, 5-game slate. I will try to be live for this one. I can't guarantee it, but I'm gonna really try to be live for this slate. Would probably be about an hour before lock or so. So I'll keep you guys updated. In the live stream, if you guys are new, I go over all the injury news, go team-by-team breakdown, give you cash GPP plays, and then answer any questions you guys have at the end. So thanks again, guys. Hope you have a good day, and I will see you possibly in the live stream tomorrow.